What's up, y'all? What you got to say? Who's on the tube watching Big Block Blu-ray? Fix my shirt here. It's that time. Finally. The Q&A answer video. Here we go. This is going to be fun. Sorry it took so long, guys. Just we've had so much going on. We went on the Hawaii trip. It was amazing. I got to do a video for that. So many videos looming over my head. And then as soon as we got back, we had a guy from work. I know you guys don't care about all this, but we had a guy from work come down, a chemist, and I had to work with him for a week and a half, which were like 12-hour days. So I didn't have time to do videos. I'm sorry, but it's life. But here we are, the Q&A. I got the questions. Here we go. I just want to say thank you so much for my 100th video where I did the Q&A. I told Madison's story. I got so many positive comments from that, and it was such a blessing. I love you guys, and thank you so much for supporting me and my family, and just all the supportive comments and all the nice things you guys said. I really appreciate it and take it to heart. And yeah, just want to say thank you for that, man. It really was nice, and I'm glad that her story is still touching people to this day, even though she's been gone for quite a few years now. So anyway, guys, let's get to these questions. If I miss your question, please let me know in the comment of this video, and I'll do another Q&A and answer it then. And as with this one, I'll always give away some prizes. So you guys are worth it, and stick around to the end of the video, and you'll see who won the Batman Special Edition, who won the Paddington Special Edition, and the 10 Cloverfield Lane Steelbook. All right, number one, Daniel Mart. What movie did you first watch with your wife and my kids? To be honest, I don't know what movie I watched with my kids first. First movie I tried to watch with Jackson, I think, was Toy Story, and he watched it for a little bit, but he was too young, and he watches it now. The first movie I ever watched with my wife, that's a funny question or funny answer. The first restaurant we ever ate at when we met, we both didn't like, so I don't know how we ended up getting there, but it was just one of those, hey, you want to go here? And of course, she's like, yeah, of course, because she was, loving me, I was loving her, so we didn't care where we went, and we both ended up, we went to a restaurant that we both ended up, that we didn't like, but it's a funny story. But anyway, the first movie we watched is also funny in that regard, because at that time, I was not into horror at all, and neither is she. She doesn't like horror movies. So the first movie we watched was My Bloody Valentine 3D. And I remember at her house, she had this little tiny 27-inch TV, and we got the red and green glasses. I think we rented it like Hollywood Video or something. It was like one of the last few times that I ever rented a movie before they all closed. And yeah, we watched My Bloody Valentine in 3D. And I liked it. She didn't. But it was a lot of fun, It was, one of those horror movies that you have to, she had to snuggle up on me, so that was a good time. Chance Covington says, can you get a shout out? Sure, man. Everybody check out Chance Covington. I don't know if he has a YouTube channel or not. I'm guessing he does. That's why I asked for a shout out. But whatever, even if he doesn't, shout out to you, Chance. Thanks for watching the video, my 100th video. And, listening to Madison's story, and thanks for asking the question. His question is, what do you think you would be right now if not doing YouTube? I would be the same. I mean, YouTube's not something that, I do for a living or anything, so it's just fun to do. It's a hobby. But I think what you mean, well, how I answer the question is what I would be doing if I wasn't what I'm doing now. If I wasn't in the family business, insulation and all that, one thing you guys probably don't know about me is I really wanted to be in law enforcement. When I was in college, I was into physical fitness, and I wanted a job that, had to keep you physically in shape and something I could be proud of. So I wanted to be in law enforcement. I wanted to get my degree in criminal justice, and I wanted to go into like the DEA or the CIA or FBI if I could, but I never ended up pursuing that all the way. I still have fantasies of working in law enforcement, and maybe one day I might do that. I don't know. Eric Rodriguez, what movie means the most to me? I think that's a hard question to answer. a lot of movies mean a lot to me. They all revolve around having memories of watching them with my family, with mostly my dad. I think Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase is probably the one that comes to mind first, just because we watched it every single Christmas. We laughed every single time we watched it, and it was just one of those movies that anytime it's on, it just brings back all those memories, and I just get a happy feeling. Blu-ray Ben, he asked 3 questions. Have you ever met a famous actor / actress? No, I've never met a famous actor or actress. I have met some famous sports stars. The church that my mom used to work at in Houston is now one of the biggest churches in the world. It's Lakewood Church. If you've ever seen Joel Osteen or John Osteen on TV, that's the church that we started going there when it was a shack on the side of a dirt road, and now they have service in the old Rockets Stadium. So, yeah, we don't. Needless to say, I don't go there anymore. It's gotten way out of hand, way too big for me. But my mom worked there for like 30-something years, and through the church, I met Evander Holyfield. I met George Foreman. Hakeem Olajuwon, Dikembe Mutombo, a lot of the Rockets players, a lot of George Foreman's from Houston, and Vander Holyfield, I think, lives in Houston, or I don't think he's from Houston, but he lives in Houston. So I met a lot of people that way. Just not meet them like, I just kind of shook their hand and was like, wow, and that was it. Those are just some sports stars I ever met. He said, what's my favorite movie with cars? That's a tough one. I like all movies basically that has cars in it, just because I'm a car guy. But Fast and the Furious 1, of course, I love. Just reminds me of when I was a teenager and I was putting all those mufflers on my friends' Hondas and souping up all their cars. I really love Gone in 60 Seconds, of course. Cliched answers, but they're great. And favorite car in a movie, definitely Eleanor from Gone in 60 Seconds. My next dream car that I want to build is a 67 or 68 Fastback Mustang. I already have my Celine, which is I wanted forever. I have an 87 5.0 Mustang. It's actually in Louisiana getting painted right now. And I want to build a 67 or 68 Fastback. And then he also asked, what's a movie that I regret not seeing in theaters? To be honest, Gravity. I wish I would have saw Gravity in 3D on the IMAX screen. I love space movies. I love sci-fi. It's my favorite genre. And I'm so mad that I missed that one in theaters. Also, Avatar in 3D, because everybody talks about how great it was. I never saw Avatar until actually like a year ago, or 2 years ago. I watched it on Blu-ray, and I thought it was okay. But I think it would have been awesome in the theater, but I just thought the story of it was so dumb. I mean, not dumb, but like... Sorry, I have a cold. I thought the story of Avatar was kind of, not good. Anyway, moving on. Blu-ray Hoarder. He asked a question that's funny. Would I rather watch 2001: A Space Odyssey or Babadook for the rest of my life? He knows I hate both those movies, and sorry if you're a 2001: Space Odyssey fan. I thought that was one of the most boring, ridiculous, pretentious movies I've ever seen. The first 30 minutes are monkeys banging on a rock. Then there's like a 15-minute long music video scene at the end where you're tripping on acid. I just thought it was like, maybe for its time, it was a big deal. But for nowadays, I don't see how it's a classic that everyone loves and all that. Now, don't get me wrong. I like other Stanley Kubrick movies. I like The Shining. I like... what's the other big one? I can't remember the name of it. I watched it not too long ago. 2 years ago. It's a Criterion. Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. Stanley Kubrick has some classics. I like the Tom Cruise movie. But I cannot stand 2001: A Space Odyssey. But he asked, would I rather watch that or the Babadook forever? I guess it'd be 2001, so maybe I can try and understand why everyone loves it. But, yeah, the Babadook I just hated too. I thought it was ridiculous. I thought that the main actress in it, she has her husband, well, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but she has something traumatic happen to her. It's like 6 years later and she's still acting crazy about it. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, that much time passes, like, you get over things. I mean, look what happened in my life. And you have to move on. So, anyway, Aaron Rodriguez, he asks, so a few questions here. He asks, was I nervous starting YouTube? Of course, I was nervous at first. If you go back and watch some of my first few videos, they're hilarious. Like, they're ridiculous. I'm so, like, stiff and nervous, but now I don't care anymore. He asked me, I don't remember. Oh, what actor would I like to watch a Fright Night Friday video with? Definitely Robert Englund, the man himself, Freddy Krueger. He's in a lot of horror movies just for fun, and I think it'd be cool. He's kind of like, to me, like the Stan Lee of horror movies. Like, Stan Lee's in every comic book movie, so I think it'd be awesome to watch a movie with him. He asked me, would I rather... I think I kind of abbreviated these questions, but I think he said, would I rather kiss Danny DeVito or Arnold Schwarzenegger from Twins? And of course it said Arnold, man. It's Arnold. I don't want to kiss that little fat Danny DeVito, although I love him in Twins. I love that movie. But Arnold's the man, and he's the bodybuilding man. Heck yeah, I would kiss him. Kiss him right on his lips. All right, and he asked me, what's going to happen after Blu-ray? Am I going to change my name or what? My YouTube name. I said, yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to change it to like Big Block 4K or something. I don't know, but you know, I don't know. All right, Dan W asked me what's my favorite steelbook in my collection. You know, honestly, I have so many steelbooks that I can't tell you one. I mean, I love all these special edition Marvel ones right here that I've displayed. It's hard to see in the camera, but if you came over to my house, you'd see so many cool steelbooks that I have displayed. I can't really name one that's my favorite. I don't really have any that I can think of that I wanted so bad. I love the John Wick particular one I have. I thought I had it displayed. I guess not. But yeah, I have a lot of cool steelbooks, man. So I can't pick just one that's my favorite. I'm trying to get through these questions a little bit faster. We're already at 12 minutes. Killer Tapes 93. What blue tuber would you like to meet? I would love to meet the Blue Limit Soldiers and hang out with those guys. They just seem like my type of guys. Like, I would definitely get along with all those guys. Blu-ray Dan, another great guy I'd love to meet. Blu-ray Hoarder. I was gonna try to meet him up when we were in Hawaii, but he's on a different island and you have to fly to a different island, and I thought we were gonna have a lot of free time when we were there, and we really didn't. We only had, you know, a few hours each day to do what we wanted to do, so there was no way we could fly to another island. Movie Cave Dave, another one. If I'm ever in Europe, I'm definitely gonna hit up and try to, you know, meet up with him. He asked me what's my favorite artist. I guess, you know, as far as rap goes, Tupac. He was always my favorite growing up. I don't listen to that much anymore since I have kids. But, you know, when I'm by myself or at the gym, you know, I'll throw on some Tupac. I like Biggie too. I like a lot of rappers. I like Jay-Z, all the big guys. One guy I can't stand is Kanye West. I hate what he stands for, and I won't listen to his music. As far as bands go, I really like Metallica. They did an album. I'm a band nerd, in case you guys know. I was in high school and college. I was in band. I played trumpet, and I paid my tuition that way, and I really enjoyed it. You know, I liked marching band. I liked concert band, everything about it. So it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of friends there. But Metallica did an album called S&M with an orchestra. I think it's the greatest album that I've ever owned. I mean, I think it's amazing. They play all their hits with this orchestra, and it's just freaking awesome. He asked me my favorite sports teams. Of course, I'm a Houston fan, so Rockets, Texans, Astros. But when I was a kid, my favorite team was the 49ers. And of course, I know, because they had Joe Montana, Jerry Rice. I used to love watching their games, and they would always get beat by the Packers, and I would get so pissed off and like throw stuff at my TV and try to break it. Yeah. And then he asked me my favorite cars, 68 Fastback Mustang, Eleanor, and also I love Aston Martins. Like all the James Bond cars, the Aston Martins, they're so badass. I would love to have an Aston Martin one day. This is Don. He asked me my first Blu-ray purchased. Honestly, I can't remember. I don't know. I think the first time I bought some Blu-rays, like I had DVDs, and then I upgraded my TV and I got a Blu-ray player. So I wanted to, of course, see the quality. So I went out, I think I bought like 5 or 10 Blu-rays at one time. You know me, I roll like 40, 50 a month. So I can't remember the first one, but yeah, I honestly, I don't have any idea. What made me keep buying? YouTube. Honestly, like watching you guys and all the movies you pick up, I'm like, oh, I need that one. Oh, I need that one. And that honestly made me keep buying. Now I'm buying movies that I've never seen. I'm buying horror movies I've never seen. I'm buying pawn shop movies that, you know, that I'll give a watch. If I don't like, I'll sell or throw away or get rid of. So, you know, it's just gotten out of hand now, really. Movie mouth. Who's my favorite director? You know, honestly, that's hard to say because, but since I'm such a sci-fi nerd, and since I love all of this director's movies, I'll say Christopher Nolan. Every movie he's made, I've enjoyed, and I loved Interstellar. I mean, it was amazing. I love the Batman films. I loved Inception. I love Memento. So I guess I would go with Nolan. But I love Tarantino. I love Spielberg. I love all the big guys. I love Scorsese. I love all his films. I think Scorsese would probably be my second favorite. Reject films. If I could change anything about one movie I like or dislike to make it better, hands down, Batman v Superman. Man of Steel was my favorite comic book movie of all time, so I was so hyped going into Batman v Superman. I was so disappointed at the end of that film. I would totally remove the ending of that movie. I would end it with Batman and Superman, the fight and the resolution. You don't need any of that at the end of Batman v Superman. They wasted one of the greatest comic book stories of all time. It's been out long enough now, so if you haven't seen it, close your ears for a minute. But the death of Superman was one of the greatest comic books of all time. Graphic novels, whatever you want to call it. I don't know which one it is. I'm not a comic book nerd, but I remember when I was in high school, I was not into comic books at all. And there's 2 stories that I remember that, you know, from everyone talking about, and one of them was the death of Superman. And when he came back, all the different characters, and that could have been Man of Steel 2. I mean, that story could have been Man of Steel 2. Why the hell did they waste that in Batman v Superman in the last 10 minutes? It was idiotic. But if you want to see my Batman v Superman rant video, go back and watch that. I still feel that way, even with the inner longer cut or whatever. Cotton 0071, number 1 movie have to have in Steelbook. You know, honestly, that's another one that I couldn't really think of anything. I don't really have to have movies in Steelbook. I mean, I usually look and see, okay, is there a Steelbook? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. How much more is it than the standard Blu-ray? I mean, if there's a Steelbook for a movie that I like and it's not that much more, I just buy the Steelbook. If it's a movie I absolutely love, then yeah, I'll get one of the crazy Steelbooks. But I think one that I really want that I don't have yet, there's a special edition of Man of Steel with a lenticular cover. I think I saw, who had it? One of the YouTube guys had it. Anyway, I don't remember if it's Film Arena or one of the crazy companies, but it's a new company that just came out, and they've only made a few Steelbooks, but it's so beautiful. I looked it up on eBay, and it's way too expensive, so. Brian Goes Blue, best trip I have ever been on. Okay, hands down, Hawaii trip that we just got back from. So amazing. I can't wait. I've got to do a video about that trip. I want to show pictures and videos that we took and everything like that, but I want to do it justice, so it's going to take me a while to do that video, but hands down, that was the greatest trip of my life, and I'm pretty sure it'll never be topped again. But yeah, I've also been to Cancun on our honeymoon, which was fantastic. Been on a cruise with my wife, and that was really fun. If you've never been on a cruise, definitely do that. And I want to go to Disney with my family. I've never been to any of the Disney parks, so I want to take them, but when they're a little bit older so they'll remember it. And he also asked me my favorite food. Hands down, Tex-Mex. Texas Mexican food. That's why I'm overweight. They just slam on the cheese and the sour cream and the jalapenos and the sloppy grease, and God, it's good. And I would eat it probably every day, and I'd weigh like 600 pounds instead of what I weigh now, which is way too much. So yeah, I gotta cut that out. Robert Soto, I get 5 movies and why is what I wrote down. I think he wrote like, what's my top 5 movies? My favorite movie of all time, number 1 is Rocky. Rocky 1, Rocky 2, they're my favorite. I'll get into them more later because I think that question gets asked numerous times. Yeah, it does. Number 2, I'd probably say Young Guns. It's my favorite Western, and another one that I just love watching. All these movies are from watching with my dad. Number 3, The Burbs. One of my favorite comedies, if not my favorite comedy of all time. Love that film. Tom Hanks is hilarious. It's just great. Everything about that film is great. Christmas Vacation. Number 4, again, same reasons why I love The Burbs. Watch it every year. And I'd say number 5 is probably Goodfellas. Just fantastic. One of the greatest gangster films ever made. And again, one I watched with my dad so many times and just love it. Scott Merkel. Movies with no blue that I would like to have a blue. The Abyss, Critters, Cool World, I thought was a cool movie that was like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and I don't know why it doesn't have a Blu-ray. Dream Muscle Car, Eleanor, but if I wanted to pick something different, I'd like to have a Nova because my dad always loved Novas, and I'd love to have a badass Nova. OP0909, live action greater than animation. Don't have an answer for that one. Plot, cheesy horror movie. Oh, what's one thing like with cheesy horror movies and the plot that I would change or like stop having in movies? Mechanic that sabotages cars. I don't know why I wrote that. I need to reread that question, guys. I don't remember why I wrote that. I know. I mean, I was a BMW tech, so I know. Maybe. Maybe it was. I hated that. I hate in horror movies how they get in the car and they'll never start. It's in like every horror movie. It's so cliched. But I'm a mechanic, so it's like, I mean, come on. Not that many cars are that shitty. I mean, really. Leroy Green. Oh, you know what? He said, I remember his question now. Name a plot of a cheesy horror movie that I would do. Okay, yeah. So my idea was a mechanic that sabotages cars, but like a real way, not like, oh, the battery won't start, some killer's gonna kill me. A mechanic like sabotages cars and makes people crash, and like that's how he kills, how he kills his victims. Yeah. Leroy Green, who inspired me to make videos? Honestly, like when I first looked at YouTube, it was the usuals. It was Stuckman, it was the Flick Pick, those guys. And then when I started branching out and finding smaller channels, there were tons in the beginning. And a lot of the guys that I used to watch aren't on here anymore. And it's a shame, like Brett the Movie Guy, like Evan at the Disco. I mean, a lot of smaller guys that I enjoyed watching, and they're not making videos anymore. But yeah, that was just a couple to name. And did I think I would go this long? Honestly, yeah. I mean, because like normally when I start something, I like to finish it. Now, I don't know what finishing means as far as my YouTube channel goes, but I usually stick with stuff, I mean, yeah, I might take a break in there for a while, but I mean, I think I'll probably make videos. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how long I'll go. But yeah, I mean, I thought I would be going this long. Country Boy John 90, favorite comedy. The Burbs, Christmas Vacation, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Another one that I watch every year with my dad that I love around Thanksgiving. Superbad is probably my favorite new age comedy. Team America, just because of how crazy that movie is, and it's so funny. And Tucker and Dale versus Evil is probably, that's my favorite comedy that nobody's heard of. I actually found that through another YouTube channel recommending it, and I watched it on Netflix, and I immediately bought it and watched it again with my dad because I want him to see it, and I watched it with one of my friends that had never seen it. I love that movie. It's so funny. Hobson Illmind 93. Again, that's my first Blu-ray. I already answered that. I don't know. Steve Sanders, favorite movie of all time. Again, Rocky 1. Just has so much meaning to me. I watched it with my dad so many times, and I just love the story, the underdog story. I love all the like meanings behind the movie. I love that it was a low-budget film that is one of the greatest of all time, and that they put so much effort into, and I love it. I love it to death. Rockin' Blues 81, first movie in theaters. Honestly, again, my memories must be terrible. I can't remember what I saw first in theaters, but some of my fondest memories in theaters, number one was Mortal Kombat. I remember we had this shitty little dollar cinema by my old, where I grew up, and it smelled like pee. It was, the floors were like sticky when you walked by, but I didn't care. I was a kid. There was popcorn, there was trash everywhere in that theater. But I remember going there and seeing two movies in particular, Mortal Kombat and the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And those two movies, man, changed my life with movies. I mean, the first Mortal Kombat was so amazing. After playing the games for so long, seeing it on the big screen was just so badass. Rated GP has the Bluetooth community intro to new things. Oh, has the Bluetooth community introduced me to new things? Definitely, so much. Horror films in general, Scream Factory, Criterion, Steelbooks, collectibles. I didn't know any of this stuff existed until I started with the Bluetooth community, and now look at it. So definitely they've introduced me to so many things. I hated horror movies before joining the Bluetooth community, and I honestly would never ever buy a horror movie. And now, if you see my next update, I have 15 horror movies. So yeah, I just I've expanded so much in the movie community. Culture Freak, non-movie related channels that I watch. Yeah, I watch bodybuilding stuff. I love bodybuilding. So I watch all kinds of bodybuilding videos, the Olympia, all that, if you know what that is. I watch, what else? Gaming stuff. I watch videos about Hearthstone. It's one of my favorite card games to play online. I watch, what else? Music on YouTube. Trying to look through my subscriber list in my head. Yeah, anyway. Is there things that I buy, or tons, mostly just for collecting? I'm not sure what I meant by that question, but I have answered for that. Arnold, Stallone, Van Damme, Pinocchio. I guess those are guys that I want to try to get everything they made, maybe. Anyway, 2012, favorite documentary. Favorite documentary. Really liked this documentary about that Deepwater Horizon. It was really good. I just watched it on YouTube. I love anything with space and the universe. There's so many good documentaries. It's hard to name one, but I always love a good documentary. Jackson 99, did I collect VHS? No, I didn't. Well, to be honest, my parents bought VHS when I was younger, so they would buy movies that I asked them to buy, but they weren't mine, so I never collected them myself personally. But my parents and dad did have a ton of VHS movies. And yes, I did record a lot of stuff off of TV with the VCR back in the day. I remember those days where you could record 3 movies on one VHS cassette. Good times. And then he also had, what's my dad's favorite film? I asked my dad when he was in the hospital, actually, and he said Tombstone. That's his favorite movie, and he's also been there in Arizona, I believe it is. He went there and visited it, and he just loves that era. He wishes he was born in the cowboy era, and he said he would definitely be a gunfighter, and he said he would probably be a bad guy. Anyway, he loves those stories, and Tombstone is his favorite movie. Patrick Holmes, most hated remake. Honestly, I don't know if I have one that I hated more than any others. There's so many bad ones. like the Point Break remake. Well, I haven't seen the Point Break remake. I haven't seen Ghostbusters remake. I haven't seen Poltergeist remake. I hated Terminator Genesis. I mean, that was a movie. It's not really a remake. Well, kind of. I don't know what that movie is, but it sucked ass. And I was so disappointed with it. Andrew Leyland, what film blew me away as a child and made me a film fan now? Other than the ones I said that in the theater, Mortal Kombat and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I wrote The Lion King. That was probably the one movie when I was a kid, and Aladdin, that I just loved and I watched hundreds of times. Jesus Saves. Favorite movie trilogy, Lord of the Rings or Star Wars? Honestly, I would say both. And it's funny because I'm a sci-fi guy. I love sci-fi, so I would lean towards Star Wars, but Lord of the Rings is like the greatest fantasy movies of all time. I mean they're perfect to me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Lord of the Rings trilogy is amazing, and I'm not even a huge fan of that genre of fantasy, but like I've never seen the Harry Potter movies. I never rush out to like see that kind of genre fantasy, but those movies, man, are fantastic. Fantastic. Jason H, top 3 needs on Blu-ray. Again, I just said Abyss, Cool World, True Lies. The ones that everybody says. Adam Tolliver, best way to sell digital copies. I've said it many times in videos. Blu-ray.com. They have a thread well, actually they have 2 threads. They have one dedicated to selling non-Disney codes, and then another for Disney codes. And you have to put in a little work to be able to do this. You have to make 30 posts through Blu-ray.com. You have to make a profile. And you can't just make a profile and go in there and start selling stuff, because then they would have a lot of, scalpers and people that are trying to rip people off. So you have to put in a little work. You have to put in 30 posts throughout the forum, and then you can start selling. And that's what I did. And I mean, I sell my codes on there like that, no problem. Remake better than the original. This one I had to research a little bit, but The Fly with Jeff Goldblum is a remake, and man, that's a freaking great movie. I didn't know Heat was a remake, and that's one of my favorite action films of all time. The Departed is a remake of like a foreign film, and it's just amazing. Flynn Tompa, the dumbest movie ever. This was a hard one for me to answer too. Like, Team America to me is like the dumbest idea that I've ever heard of, but it's so good. I love it. And then I guess one that I put for a dumb movie is I have in my collection is Barbed Wire with Pamela Anderson. I mean, it's horrible, but she's hot. So there you go. Harsh Arse. Blu-ray community talking about it and appreciating the time and energy it takes to make these films. Okay, I don't know what. I guess I forgot to write down the question. So I guess go in the comments and look at his question, but I wrote Blu-ray community talking about it and appreciating the time and energy it takes to make these films. Blu-ray Hunter, favorite sequel, Rocky 2. Hands down, Rocky 1's my favorite movie of all time, and I like Rocky 2 just as much. Kind of think of them as one movie because it's just continuing the same story, and he actually wins in part 2, so I love those 2 films. I could watch them over and over all day, every day. Remakes worst. Remakes worst. Almost every movie is a remake. Yes. Okay. Review runner. I guess I'm sorry, my handwriting is very sloppy because I wrote all these down at the same time and my hand was getting tired. Favorite movie and why? I put Rocky 1, and I've already talked about it. And I put Man of Steel, since my favorite comic book movie. I love that film. I think it's like hands down a perfect comic book film. It has a great opening. It has a great story. It has great characters. It has a great villain. It has everything I want in a comic book movie. And I also put Interstellar for my favorite sci-fi film because I absolutely love it. I do. So there you go, guys. It's 35 minutes. Q&A in the books. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got to learn a little bit more about me. Down in the comments, if there's anything you can think of that you want to ask me, go ahead and throw me some questions down below, and I will answer it in a follow-up Q&A. And we'll keep these going as long as there's questions. If not, then that's cool. You guys know me. I'm pretty open about anything and everything. Obviously, since I mean I've told some pretty big things here on YouTube, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Like I said, all right, here come up the videos for the drawings, and I will get these mailed out at the beginning of this week, I promise. So at the end of this next week, you should be receiving these items, the winners, and good luck to you all. See you next time. All right, here's the drawing for the Batman Special Edition prize. Randomize. Aaron Rodriguez, congratulations, man. You're the winner of the Batman Special Edition. Alright, second drawing is for the Paddington Special Edition. Good luck to all. Hopefully all of your names are in the list here. And randomize. Flynn Tompa, you are the winner of Paddington. Congratulations. Alright, and last but not least, the most entries, the 10 Cloverfield Lane Steelbook. Here's all the names you can read here. Hopefully I got everybody. And let's do the randomize. Buyout. Andrew Leyland, congratulations, man. You're the winner of the 10 Cloverfield Lane Steelbook.